YouTube, what it do? It's your boy Quisballinn, man, and I'm back with another video. And I want to touch on this situation with Von Miller after he turned himself in to the police. After a warrant was issued for Von Miller's arrest, and it looks like he's going to be facing an alleged assault case. And I'll just read a little bit of the article here. It says here that Von Miller, the 34-year-old pass rusher, has been charged with assaulting a pregnant woman after police responded to a call to a complex in the northern part of the city around 11 a.m. on Wednesday. A preliminary investigation has determined that Miller and the victim had gotten into a verbal argument prior to the alleged assault, after which Miller left the scene, according to police. So this is not looking good for Von Miller, man. Obviously, as we all know, it's never right to put your hands on a woman for clear and obvious reasons. And then when you factor in the fact that she is pregnant, I mean, it makes it 100 times worse. And I didn't want to make this video just to get up here and say men shouldn't hit women. I mean, for the most part, any solid man knows this. With that being said, there's no excuse to do that action, but I believe women should not provoke men as well. Now, I'm not saying at all that she did in this situation. I'm just laying down the law on both sides. I'm never afraid to call out either side in a particular situation. But like I said, I'm not going to make a whole video just to say Von Miller is wrong for hitting his pregnant girlfriend. I mean, that's the obvious thing. What I really wanted to bring into this story was the coverage on this situation with Von Miller from First Take, because me and Jew had made a video discussing the Josh Giddey situation when Dez Bryant had called out Malika Andrews for her lack of coverage and speaking up on this, but she does go after black men. I don't want to turn this whole thing into a color situation, but the way the coverage went down in this story gives credence to the fact that certain situations get covered entirely different as opposed to the Josh Giddey situation. Now, a big complaint was they didn't keep that same energy with Josh Giddey. And I'm going to play a clip of First Take covering the Von Miller situation. I'm just going to play Stephen A's part because we just got to talk about this, man. Here's what they had to say.
Reported this morning that an arrest warrant has been issued in Dallas for Bills linebacker Von Miller for allegedly assaulting his pregnant girlfriend. Here's the statement from the Bills this morning. We were made aware of an incident involving Von Miller. We are in the process of gathering more information and will have no further comment at this point. All right. Stephen A.
First things first. We don't know all the facts. We heard this report. Obviously, an arrest warrant being issued is a very, very serious matter. Without knowing anything, let's just make sure we make this general statement that everybody at this table will agree with. Keep your hands off women. Do not put your hands on women if you are a man, period. Let's get that out the way. Having said all of that, on a separate issue, there's something going on in the NBA with Josh Giddey. Mm-hmm. And what I've said and what numerous others have said is we don't know all the facts. So if we have to take that position with him, with allegations of dealing with a minor, and we want to sit up there and say, wait until we have all the facts, same thing to Von Miller. But it does not look good for him to be in this situation. There is nothing good about this for him, nor the Bills, nor society as a whole with all the nonsense that we're having to deal with in this day and age. Do not put your hands on a woman.
Nor
That's all I
the
have to say.
pregnant girlfriend or the future child,
Yes.
if true.
Yes.
So the first thing I want to point out is the people's voice matters, man. The people's voice matters, man. What you guys say in these comments, content creators, videos, the regular working class citizens' voice matter, because there's no way Stephen A would have even mentioned not having the facts with Josh Giddey if it wasn't for everybody just blasting him for his blatant hypocrisy and Malika's blatant hypocrisy. So the voice of the people matters, man. And you heard him. He went on to say, if we're going to say we ain't got all the facts with Josh Giddey, then we should apply that to this situation, and we don't have all the facts with Von Miller. But wait, Stephen A., that's the whole point. This is what makes you look like a complete clown. The fact that you guys are doing a whole roundtable discussion on this Von Miller situation without having the facts. Correct? That's what you said, right? Y'all don't have the facts. Why didn't you guys do the same exact segment on Josh Giddey and you guys didn't have the facts? So it just goes to show you a lot of people weren't just making this stuff up about how they cover stories and how it's not equivalent and how they do not keep the same energy. There was a lot of truth to a lot of those comments. And I didn't want to believe it, but I have no choice but to when you see things like this. Stephen A. addressing this Von Miller situation, you said, don't hit women. Why didn't you tell Josh Giddey, don't sleep with minors? It's only fair, right? You don't have the facts in either story, but yet you're assuming that Von Miller actually hit the woman. And you're not assuming that Josh Giddey did what he was accused of. This is the type of stuff we have to point out, man. And the only reason he brought up Josh Giddey was to try to make it appear like he's being fair. But in the end, it's the complete opposite. It's totally unfair to have a whole segment on Von Miller and not on Josh Giddey. You proved everyone's point. By trying to disprove everyone's point and make it out to believe that you're this fair guy and you covering both, you're talking about both. No, you actually did the exact opposite, because you guys never had a segment on Josh Giddey. But the moment Von Miller gets hit with these allegations, you guys are all up there talking about it. And Stephen A., you came to Malika Andrews' defense and you went off on the people who was mad at y'all for the lack of coverage on the whole Josh Giddey story. And you really tried to hide behind the excuse of we don't have all the facts, and then you go and do this? You go and cover this domestic violence situation with Von Miller without having all the facts? Are you serious? I mean, this is laughable. This is laughable how you just proved everyone right. I mean, I can't believe you can't see this. Stevie Wonder could see the BS behind this. And you tried to make it seem like people were crazy. You tried to make it seem like people weren't making any sense for criticizing you and Malika for this situation. But it turns out they had a point. So I just think it's sad, man. I just think it's sad that you guys basically showed your bias live in front of the entire world to see. And I had to make this video to point this out. Now, I don't want to say it 100% comes down to pure race, but I would be a fool to say it doesn't play somewhat of a factor. I mean, when you look at both of these situations, tell me the reason why you would cover Von Miller's situation and why you wouldn't cover Josh Giddey's situation. Tell me. Now, I know Von Miller was actually arrested and did have a warrant out and may be charged. So that could be the reason. But that takes nothing away from this Josh Giddey situation, considering the NBA came out and said they're investigating. The police came out and said they're investigating. So while the NBA is investigating and the police, you can't speculate. You can't condemn Josh Giddey like you condemn Von Miller when you're telling them don't put your hands on a woman. You can't tell Josh Giddey be careful, don't sleep with minors, don't sleep with underage girls. I mean, because both are obvious, right? You should never hit women and you should never sleep with underage girls. So that's the only difference I see in this is that Giddey wasn't actually charged officially, but I'm not giving you guys that excuse because he was being investigated by the police and by the NBA. You guys cover the NBA. That is a story that should be covered. To go completely silent on that is just absurd to me. It's inexcusable because what if it comes out that this whole Von Miller thing is a lie and he never did it? Then what? Y'all went on y'all show, y'all made a story about it. What if it turned out Josh Giddey did do it and y'all didn't speak on it? So I'm just saying there is a lot of credence to the fact that you guys don't keep the same energy when covering different situations with athletes. I don't want to boil it all down to race, but it has to play somewhat of a factor. And I don't want to totally put these analysts under the fire because they do work for a big company. So I'm just going at them as a product of them being employees of the company. But Stephen A does practically run that show First Take. And I'm sure if he wanted to discuss Josh Giddey, he could have put that word in that he wanted to. But I guess to ESPN, domestic violence is just way more serious than sleeping with underage girls. That's all I could think of. So ESPN, man, Stephen A. Smith and Malika Andrews, First Take, y'all tripping, man. Y'all get caught red-handed in 4K HD being hypocrites, complete clowns. All people were asking was to keep the same energy. And Stephen A., you went off on folks for that. And then you go and you don't keep the same energy right in our face. This is the exact nonsense we was talking about, man. But I just wanted to point out the BS, man. That's all I got for this video. Drop on down in the comments and let me know what y'all are thinking. Am I tripping for thinking these dudes don't keep the same energy at all? Do you see the difference in coverage in different alleged crimes with athletes? Let me know, man. Am I off base here or what? Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe. I appreciate everybody who's checking out the videos. The channel is growing, man. We over 75 subs. And I always want to thank y'all for that, man, because you taking your time out to watch, man. And time is something you can't get back. But hey, I'm out of here. Peace.